Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome back to Rainbow Children of the Light. I'm so glad you are here. If you found yourself lying beside your child night after night, rubbing their back, making another trip for a drink of water, comforting them, another nightmare, or just wondering why bedtime has become such a battle, sleep challenges are incredibly common, especially for sensitive and neurodivergent children. There can be many reasons why a child struggles to sleep, including developmental, sensory, medical factors. Yeah, so many different things. Today, I would like to explore another perspective that many spiritual families find meaningful. A gentle through a gentle spiritual lens, I guess, which will may help explain what you've been noticing or experiencing. My hope isn't to replace practical or medical support where it's needed. Instead, it's to offer another piece of the puzzle that may help you understand a little bit more about sleep and the spiritual side of it and your beautiful child. Because when we actually understand what might be happening, we naturally move from fear into compassion, and that's where everything begins to change. During the day, our children are busy. They're learning, they're playing, they're processing emotions, navigating friendships, managing sensory experiences, trying to understand a world that often feels loud and overwhelming. And by bedtime, many children they're physically tired, but they're not necessarily energetically settled, especially children who are naturally intuitive, empathetic, or highly sensitive. These beautiful souls often notice far more than we realize. Sometimes they absorb the emotions of other people around them. That's really common. Sometimes they've spent the whole day masking how overwhelmed they're actually feeling. Sometimes their nervous system is still buzzing long after their body is ready for sleep. From a spiritual perspective, bedtime can be the first quiet moment of the entire day when everything becomes still and their awareness actually becomes louder. One thing I hear from mums all the time is my child says they're scared, but they can't explain why. Maybe you've heard, I don't want to go into my room. I don't know why. I just feel scared. I don't want you to leave. I know what I saw. As parents, we naturally try to solve the problem. We check under the bed, we reassure them, we give them cuddles, we leave the hallway light on, sit beside them, read another story, and sometimes it still just doesn't seem to help. It can often leave us feeling helpless, but what if your child isn't trying to describe something frightening? What they're simply trying to describe is a feeling they don't actually have the words for. Young children especially don't have the vocabulary to explain energetic sensitivity. They simply know something doesn't feel right, whether that's emotional overwhelm or a busy nervous system or something they simply just can't explain. And our role isn't to convince them they shouldn't feel scared. Our role is to help them feel safe. One of the greatest gifts of sensitive children is that they feel so deeply. The challenge is because they feel deeply, they often notice emotions of others before anyone has spoken. They can become exhausted after busy environments, crowded shopping centres, busy classrooms, sporting events, family gatherings. Even joyful events can become overwhelming because their nervous system has been processing so much. Then bedtime arrives, the house becomes quiet, their body slows down, their mind has room to process everything it has collected throughout the day. Have you ever noticed your child suddenly becomes emotional just before bed, or wants to ask lots of deep questions, or suddenly remembers something upsetting that happened hours earlier? That's often when the processing actually finally begins. I remember one of my daughters went through a real season of this where bedtime became incredibly difficult. She was waking from nightmares. She couldn't explain what frightened her. She was about 5 at the time. And when we would ask what she'd seen, she just couldn't tell us. And as parents, we did everything we knew. We comforted her, we reassured her, we stayed with her. We made her room feel safe, but something still didn't shift. One evening, I decided to approach it a little bit differently. Rather than trying to convince her there was nothing to fear, I focused on helping her feel spiritually supported. Before bed, we gently cleared her energy. We imagined beautiful light surrounding her. We invited Archangel Michael to lovingly protect her. We asked for her angels and guides to watch over her while she slept. So there was no fear, no drama. It was just all love, all peace. Just the knowing that she wasn't alone really helped. And from that point onwards, the nightmares stopped. Now, was that the only reason? I can't say for certain. But I do know that this created a gentle bedtime routine that really brought around an incredible sense of safety for all of us. And sometimes feeling safe is exactly what allows the nervous system to finally rest. One thing I really wanted to say today, please don't feel like you have to create the perfect bedtime routine. Your child doesn't need perfection. It's dynamic. They need your presence. Sometimes we put so much pressure on ourselves. The perfect diffuser, the perfect essential oil, the perfect meditation, the perfect routine. But what children remember most is how it felt. Did they feel loved? Did they feel safe? Did they feel understood? That's what stays with them. If you're someone who resonates with spirituality, one beautiful practice is to simply inviting your child's spirit team into bedtime. You might quietly say, thank you to my child's angels and guides for surrounding them with love tonight. May they feel safe. May they sleep peacefully. May they wake refreshed. May only energies of unconditional love surround them. It doesn't have to be complicated, just sometimes the simplest of prayers carry the deepest of love. It's all about intention. So, in the next episode, I'm going to actually walk you through the exact bedtime routine I use. We'll go through step by step, and I'll teach you my pillar of light visualization, how I lovingly clear my children's energy, and I invite grounding. I also create a protective bubble of unconditional love, and how I invite the spiritual team to watch over them while they sleep. It's something you can begin using, whenever you feel called. Sometimes, despite all of our love and our gentle bedtime routines, we still have the feeling that something deeper is contributing to our child's sleep struggles. That intuitive nudge deserves compassion too. In my children's rainbow recalibration sessions, one of the things we gently explore is your child's energetic well-being. Sometimes we discover signs of emotional overload, sometimes energetic exhaustion, sometimes simply that they've been carrying far more than anyone realized, even themselves. And the sessions, it isn't about creating fear or searching for problems. It's about bringing balance, helping restore the calm, supporting their nervous system, and giving parents a deeper understanding of what their child may need. For some families, simple bedtime rituals are enough. For others, a little extra personalized support can make the difference. So, beautiful mum, if your child has been struggling to sleep lately, I hope today's conversation has given you even just a little bit of a inkling or any valuable clues or answers, and I hope it's given you permission to also be gentle on yourself, because you're doing an incredible job, and raising kids, it is not an easy job. And in the end, or they are just craving that safety, and providing that for them to the best of our ability, whether that's through cuddles, a calm bedtime routine, a prayer, a visualization, or simply just your loving presence. Every small act of love helps your child feel more secure. So thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Has your child ever struggled to explain why they were frightened at bedtime? And don't forget to join me on my next episode, where I'll guide you through my complete bedtime spiritual routine that you can begin using with your own family. So until then, keep trusting yourself, keep following your intuition, and remember, the most powerful thing you bring to your child's life isn't another parenting strategy, it's your love. So until next time, beautiful souls.